I want to talk about the disrespect towards Michael Jackson at the Billboard Awards show. Yeah, Maxwell came out and put his afro back on his head and did "The Lady in My Life." He actually did that back in 2010. And but how do you just come on and say Thriller turns 40 and here's Maxwell singing? This album changed popular culture. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and I take offense at how they have literally whitewashed his impact on the culture. That album came out 40 years ago. 7 out of 9 of the songs were top 10 hits. That was unheard of. The album, biggest selling album ever, broke down racial barriers in the racist music industry through the songs, half of which he wrote, and the videos, which changed the landscape of how you create and enhance your music to a different audience. Because up until that point, MTV's racist behind wasn't trying to hear it, and nobody was selling no records like that. Michael Jackson opened up the door for a ton. But when you get like racist magazines like Rolling Stone magazine, when even though they had Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder them in the top 2 or 3 spots, they don't have Michael Jackson in the top 5 for album of all time. That's criminal. Or songs. I mean, are you crazy? This was a turning point in there. This was historical implications. But Billboard taking a cue, and you need to take a cue for how they do. They have downplayed the significance of what Michael Jackson did. They hated him because, let me be realistic, and I'm not talking about the fabrication of lies on his personal life. I'm talking about they just don't want to give it up for a brother that saved their behind, dominated the industry. It makes me think of something the comedian Mike Epps said. Because I'm not the biggest Mike Epps fan, but when he hits, he hits. And he said a few things that I agree with. And one of them he said was about Michael Jackson. He said, if they didn't let Michael come to the table, they ain't let none of us come to the table. And I always remembered that. I sat there and I thought, even though Maxwell came and performed The Lady in My Life, I thought, how dare y'all, with an album that transcended race, sex, class, the whole nine. Because Thriller was like a cell phone of today. hmm Yeah, everybody had one. Everybody had one. And then all of a sudden now you're going to sit there and kind of like shortchange him and act like, oh, well. But I thought it was very awkward and disrespectful. And I took exception to that. The reason why that wax show sucks. Let me ask you a question. Be realistic. You think Bruno Mars gets on that stage without the Michael Jackson open up a door? I don't think so. You think Justin Bieber gets up on the stage without a Michael Jackson open up that door? I don't think so. And I can go on. I can go on. Because you see a lot of people that are in debt. And to sit there and just say, oh, well, here's Thriller. They wouldn't do that to the Beatles. They wouldn't do that to Elvis Presley. They wouldn't do that to Sinatra. They wouldn't do that to Madonna. Shoot, they wouldn't do that to Eminem. Mm-mm. But you see how systematic, institutionalized racism is, and yes, I do feel it's racist. Because come on now, Thriller was like that was like a turning point. That album was everything, and that impact of Michael Mania opened up a lot of doors, a lot of doors. A lot of people in different fields that are African American owe Michael Jackson a servitude of gratitude because it was a very important record. It was groundbreaking. And to see them just kind of like give it the old sexual chocolate, that boy good, is an insult. But that's what they think about you. That's what they think about you. Just remember that. That's that energy. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts and comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for one another, and I remember that. And I'm going to remember that. I'm out.